Good evening. Welcome to my channel, Pam Sheppard Ministries. If you would like to connect with me on Facebook, I have a secret group where I discuss all these matters. So, friend me, and my name on Facebook is Pamela, Pamela, Sheppard, Sheppard. Friend me. Also, visit my blog at pamsheppardpublishing.com. I have several blogs. Another one is settingcaptivesfree.me. So, you can search with my name and you would be looking for pages and pages and pages. And that's because I have written thousands of articles. So each one of those articles will be under my name individually. And on top of that, all the videos, the books, the ads, I'm all over the place. So that's Pam Sheppard, Sheppard. And you can reach me at 888-818-1117, which is toll free. Or you can send me an email to getreadyfor, F-O-R, the Lord, @gmail.com. With the last couple of videos, I've been talking about possession versus being demonized and the difference really between the two. I want to continue in that vein and look at what we can glean from yet another scripture. And that scripture is in Matthew 15. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's a very familiar scripture where Jesus and the disciples, they're on their break. They're at home. And this woman comes out there. She's screaming. She's hollering. She's hysterical, crying out for somebody to help her. And she wants her daughter to be healed. She claims that her daughter is possessed with a demon. Now, she uses that language. Some translations have the word vexed with it. Vexed does presuppose some kind of mental issue. Some think of it as just stressed or tormented, but the translation says that I'm using here right now says possessed. She was possessed. And the result, what happened, is that she got into an exchange with Jesus about, he's telling her, listen, casting out devils is for the Jews. And, I can't take the bread. Casting out devils is considered a part of the bread of life. I can't give the bread to just any old Gentile, he kind of said. And I believe he was looking for a reaction, an action of faith that he could move on. And she said, well, oh yeah, I know who you are. She basically said, I know you are the Messiah. I may not be a Jew, but I know that you are God, is what she basically said. And he was like, whew. I don't have to do anything. Your faith has set your daughter free from that possession. And the scripture does say that very hour her daughter was made whole and set free from demons. What that brings me to is the fact that I cast out demons at a distance over the phone. And I did not know that that was possible. If it wasn't for a preacher man down there in New York City who had gotten himself caught up in sin, and he had one of those churches where they were trying out, casting out demons. He was at home asleep, and his girlfriend was down to the church with the deliverance team. And they had somebody in there that was probably possessed. And that person broke loose with all his strength. And just like, in the book of Acts, where there is an account of such a thing, where they said, Paul I know, Jesus I know, but who are you? And they jumped on them folk who were trying to cast them out and beat them down. All right. But now, here's this man, and this is exactly what happens to his team. He's home asleep, and his girlfriend wakes him with a call, and she's hysterical. So right away, fear, comes to him. He's fogged out. He's in an altered state of consciousness, just waking up. And she tells him the situation. And he said that he saw a silver ball coming through the air. It landed in his chest and went into him. And from that moment on, he had a spirit of fear. It was totally irrational. It was like he was possessed. It was affecting his ability to preach. He was afraid everywhere. And so he got in touch with Doris Wagner, a well-known deliverance person. She wrote a book about casting out demons. And her husband was in charge of a major organization, a fellowship of all the deliverance workers around the country, around the world. She was well known. And she had been communicating with me, an unknown at the time. And she asked this man where he was from. He said New York. And she said, well, she could only find, back in 2002, I think it was, she could only find 2 deliverance ministers online anyway. And one was myself and another one in Buffalo, New York. And I'm the only one that answered the phone. So he called me, and Doris Wagner said, listen, I'm very busy. She's in that whole charismatic scene. And she is busy. She still is busy. Her husband has since died, but she's still out there on the battlefield. And so, anyway, she recommended, he was 3 hours from me, she recommended that he come and let me cast the demons out. And at that time, that's all I knew was face to face. So, he was so filled with fear. And because I'm black, he's black too. But a lot of times, black folk don't appreciate what other black folk know. That's the reality. And his feeling was, well, you ain't nobody. And, Doris, he was willing to take a plane from New York to Colorado because he said he could sit on the plane and just not look at anything. And he thought he could handle that fear. But he could not get in his car and drive 3 hours to me. So I wanted this case. And I said, I'll drive to you. And I'll bring my team with me. I'll drive to you. And he was like, no, I can't trust you. I don't know who you are. So all of a sudden, I don't know, righteous anger came on me. And you know, every time that this happens, there's a major deliverance going down. And righteous anger came upon me. And I spoke to that demon over that phone. And I commanded it to come out. The spirit of fear. I commanded it. And right there on the spot, he was completely free. Talked to him maybe a couple of weeks or so after that. And this is what this black man said to me. He said, he was a mega preacher wannabe. And he said, when I get big, I'm going to remember you, girl. I'm going to take care of you. Well, that was 2002. It is now 2019. I guess he just didn't get big because I haven't heard from him. But he was very important to my ministry because then I discovered exactly what I see here in this scripture, that demons can be cast out at a distance. I have done this in Dubai, in South Africa, in the Caribbean, in Canada, and in the United States. Okay? Because they have different abilities from us. You know, they hear in the spirit thousands of miles away. And if you think that this is a lot safer than a face-to-face deliverance, in some ways, yes, and in other ways, no. Okay? And I'm not going to go all up into that. That's another whole subject area. But what I'm saying here is that the distance does not matter. Okay? What matters in this instance is my faith. Okay? And one of the things that I do in working with people from a counseling and coaching perspective is I build up your faith and trust in the Lord, in the Word, in truth, and then that funnels down to me. So, one can chase 1,000, but two can chase 10,000. So, the relationship that is bonded between a representative of Christ and a captive, you put their faith together and we will put them to flight. The first thing I do is get rid of all of the false doctrine and practices that you have been involved in. In other words, you will spiritually vomit and get rid of everything you picked up in religion and in the institutional church and in the occult and from mama and daddy. Okay? We got to cleanse this out. You got to know you. Okay? You got to know what your weaknesses are. And that is your first step to being delivered at a distance. Okay, now, keep in touch. Once again, 888-818-1117. If I don't pick up, I may be in session. Leave a message. All right. Bye-bye now.